Good evening, Chicago. Nah, just kidding. What's poppin', Chi-Town? We are Windy City Fantasy. I am your host, Steve, and back with us, the Wise Sage, Crushers of Worlds, minion of championships. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, Moose.
That's right.
Marty was an excellent, serviceable replacement while you're gone, but we gave him the time off. He had to head up north.
It's the holidays.
Winter's coming. It's the holidays.
It's the holidays.
And then with us always, dropping the beats, dropping the locks, and dropping the bombs, we got Elliot.
Is this where I'm supposed to say I hate fantasy football?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
It's so wonderful.
I love it.
Christmas time is here.
I love it. I snuck it in again.
I'm going to win my other league. I know it. So I'm
Like
not
a
worried
thief
about
in the night, you snuck it in, my friend.
Dude, hell yeah. Doesn't matter what you're ranked. When you play me in the playoffs, you're going down.
I know somebody else who's happy to see you tonight. Jay, you little Skippy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Jay.
What's up, Jay?
I'm like
All right,
all up
guys,
in my
we
camera,
got
just eating
A
food.
great show for you today. It is week 14. This is the first week of playoffs. If you've made playoffs, congratulations. You're a smarty pants. If you did not, better luck next year. And
Number one pick, baby!
yeah, if you could get there, my friend, the road is long. It's long. But anyways, for the rest of you guys who made it, I hope everyone has a wonderful time. Playoffs is exciting. Your heart races. You start perspiring at your brow. You're really second-guessing your picks. My question to you, Moose, is how do you approach playoffs when you have, say, multiple good players, but you can only put certain players, obviously you're going by matchup dependency, but how do you escape the second thought in your head, that little voice saying, maybe this guy will do better for you, you should plug him in, and then what happens? You start screwing yourself over.
Well, I kind of have like two schools of thought. Excuse me. I kind of do like you play the players that got you there because obviously you got into the playoffs because of these guys. So why bench them now or second guess them now? But the other one is if you have like two or three guys that are being like great matchup coming forward, take a look at their previous games. Take a look at the games where similar defenses or defense rankings and how they did and kind of play that hot hand. You kind of could see a trend. If somebody's been 9 points, then 1 week it was 12 points and then 15 points, you can see that this team is like depending on them. You could play that hot hand if it's a good matchup.
Okay. All right, yeah, because there was a question because I had gotten a message from a friend of mine right before the show, and he actually asked me the question whether or not he should start Kyler Murray or Tom Brady this week. And he's like, Murray kind of shit the bed the last 3 games, which was like half truth. He had a couple of rough spots,
Yeah.
but he's, as you know, well aware of, Cardinals are going against the Giants and the Buccaneers are going against Minnesota. And I said, despite the fact of Murray's past performances, the Giants D, even though they are stingy within their secondary, they tend to give up points to quarterbacks, where the Vikings is just the juicier matchup because they're all in all, it's horrible. Long story short, he asked me, so Brady, and I said, yeah. So how would you feel about that if you were choosing between Kyler Murray or Tom Brady?
You know, it's kind of tough. Because I understand where like he's coming from with the way Kyler Murray's been playing the last few weeks, where he wasn't averaging his like 25 points or higher. You know, he was kind of like mediocre 24, 7, 20. But I also kind of look at what team needs to win more. And it's kind of like crazy to say that in the NFL because, I mean, every win, you always want to win and everything, unless you're Tinksonville and you want that first overall pick. But like coming up to it, it's Tampa Bay has a better record. They're fighting for that playoff spot. Cardinals have an outside shot of getting into like that second or third playoff thing. So it's going to be like who wants it more, I guess, is what's saying. I like the matchup better for Tom Brady and Minnesota, but then again, Minnesota's 6-6. You know, the Cardinals, I believe, are 6-6
as
too.
well.
So you know, who's going to come out tougher? Are the Giants going to play devil's advocate and be like, hey, we're not in the playoffs, but they're fighting.
What a time to be a Giants fan right now. When you're sitting atop the league, you defeat the Seahawks, the Washington professional full-time football team.
Yeah, full-time football team.
Yeah, the tongue twister. Upsets the Steelers. Jay called that one, and he's rightly so, because if there was ever a team that you would not ever think to derail the Steelers' undefeated trip, then yeah, there you go.
And Giants want to keep that top seed in the East just to make the playoffs. Like, people don't realize that somebody from the East has to go. Like Dallas played amazing against the Ravens for 3 quarters.
Zerline kind of killed them on that. I think they would have had their spirits would have been higher. They would have been playing harder if you didn't miss those 2 field goals.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's really tough to say, but if I had to go with somebody, I would probably go with Tom Brady over Minnesota.
No, I mean,
over Kyle Murray.
But that's what I mean. That kind of posing question, because now you're in the playoffs. There's no room for error. You make one small misstep, you overthink something too much, you play cute,
right,
and you get bit in the ass. And then then you come across these where you do, like, say you're holding a Brady and a Murray.
Like, I'm pretty sure this guy probably played Murray all season and is in the playoffs because of him. But
right, but it doesn't mean that you got to have that devout, like,
right. The only thing that scares me, and we will when we get to our news and injury notes, is there's been reports about Evans and about Goodwin with injuries. That kind of scares me because, I'm sure they got Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Sure they got Scotty Miller.
Yeah.
But, I kind of feel that Tampa Bay is in a proven mode, whereas the other 3 teams are playing like we need this win, which I think then comes into a shootout. And I think if Godwin, Evans, and Brown are all healthy and play against Minnesota, that's going to be really tough because I think Minnesota's secondary is pretty weak.
Great. All right, well, let's do that, Moose. Let's jump into news and notes. All right, Moose, right off the bat, Bears say they've closed Hallis Hall and paused in-person football activities today due to a positive COVID-19 test that came out about 6 hours ago. And I think reports were because of current addition Manti Te'o, former Notre Dame linebacker. He's the one who brought that kind of bull into, like, they need any more to add to their problems, right?
I don't know why they got him. But I guess.
Did they want to get catfished like he got catfished?
I don't know. He hasn't really done nothing in his career. He hasn't done nothing as a Saint. He does nothing as a Charger.
Nope.
Whatever.
Yep.
It's another Bears move.
Another one. Ravens tight end Mark Andrews activated from the COVID list. This is great news for any of you Mark Andrews owners, as I'm pretty sure you probably could have used him this past week if you needed a tight end to get you to help, get those solid points to get you in the playoffs. Or if you're just sitting on him because you're sitting pretty, then again, good for you.
Right.
So, but either way, this helps Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. This helps fantasy owners. So hopefully when they play the Giants, they play Cleveland. They play Cleveland this week. Sorry, my mistake. That he'll prove to be.
If you go off of stats, and I know a lot of people do this, and they're like, well, it's a division game. Let's see what he did against them. Well, he played in week 1 and had 6 for 5 for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns. So if you're in a playoff mode, that's 20 points from your tight end. Congratulations, you're moving on to the next round. Yeah,
and he should do it again as Cleveland's number 2 against opposing tight ends anyway. So he's giving up the most fantasy points to opposing tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns are on a high, but at the same time, the Ravens should have beat Steelers. They lost 2 games before beating Cowboys. They were really close. They're on that cusp, and I think Andrews coming back really helps out.
Yeah,
their passing game.
Another COVID-19 activation is Larry Fitzgerald of the Cardinals. This brings that veteran presence and draws away play that he does so well, and he's a great slot receiver for the Cardinals. Excuse me. Look at that, jinx.
I think him coming is a great thing for that slot. It's a great thing for Kyle Murray because that's his safety valve. That's his third down guy.
Yeah.
That takes pressure off of Hopkins. That triple double coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leaves Kurt stretching the field. Like, him coming back is really, really important for them. I know he's an old guy. People always are like, when is he going to retire? He's still got hands. He has knowledge.
Yeah.
I would take
he may not be pulling down 1,000-yard seasons and 100 catches anymore, but still, you have that veteran presence to make the defense honest, where they just can't be like, yeah, let's see what he got, and he's going to burn you. So, yes, this should help out Hopkins a lot for drawing away that extra attention.
Yeah.
It should help out Kyler Murray for an extra guy. So now you'll have Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, and Hopkins all together. And actually, Arnold looked great last week. 2 touchdowns. I believe it was just shy of 100 yards. But, man, I guess when Fitzgerald is out, they actually have to use the tight end.
Right.
I didn't think they had a tight end worth noting.
Right. I mean, when Fitzgerald comes in, you change your offense. You're playing that spread offense, the single back, the vertical, run where you have the single back and they're just trying to run the ball and then spreading everybody else out. If you're not, you have to adapt. And once again, do I see Arnold doing that again?
Right.
Probably not. I maybe see him in the red zone, maybe in those targets, but not 100 yards again. No.
Yeah, no. And something that fantasy owners aren't going to want to hear, especially with the first week of playoffs, is Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey is not expected to play on Sunday versus the Broncos.
So he suited up. He actually practiced, but according to the coach, he's not playing. And that was as of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So they already ruled him out for the week, even though he's been practicing.
Yeah. So Mike Davis, if you still held on to him or you're able to snag him up before your opponent who had been holding on to McCaffrey got him, then kudos to you. Fire him up. He'll be ready, good to go. Jets wide receiver Denzel Mims is out for Sunday's game against the Seahawks. Kind of tough break because he started to really turn things around and, give people a look at how good his talent is.
Yeah, and as of an hour ago, Crowder is added to their injury report with a calf issue.
It's a big day for Bashard Perriman.
Mm-hmm.
If both guys, if you have one out, you're going to have the other one out, then yeah. Seahawks running back Rashad Penny to return to practice off injured reserve. Backup to the backup to the backup. I think maybe I don't know what they really had in Travis Homer or DJ Dallas, but I probably could see them proven enough to where they've moved up the chain above Penny, unless they're just going to go off of past experience and how they feel confident about him. But for fantasy purposes, it's not helping you out at all.
Yeah, I mean, Carson looks to be healthy. So once again, I don't think those guys are relevant.
Haha, Jay. Anyways, Steelers running back James Conner plans to play week 14, which is good news for you because that's what you want. You want your running back to come back. And
good question, good seven. Good question.
Go ahead and read that off there.
Who should he start? Running back Gaskin, Akers, or Harris? That's tough. I mean, you got 2 guys going tonight. Gaskin didn't look the way he did, like he did in the beginning of the season. I think he's still kind of lingering with whatever was bothering him. I mean, he had over 21 carries for 90 yards. It was against Cincinnati. They're going up against KC, and I mean, I don't know. That's tough.
I mean, this was technically like Akers' second. He had back-to-back decent weeks he had touchdown. He had 72 yards, 84 yards the previous week. That backfield is still a mess. And then here you got to throw in Damian Harris, where New England loves to use their favorite running back, Cam Newton. So
right. I mean, the only thing is the consistency. He's getting between 13 and 15 carries. He's averaging about 50 yards a carry. But against this Rams defense, I would not start Damian Harris.
No.
And I mean, if you're probably in the playoffs.
Okay, so the way by process of elimination right there, and based on the 3 players available, I would have to say that even though they're playing KC does give up a bit of the run. They showed that Melvin Gordon. Now, Myles Gaskin is no Melvin Gordon, but Melvin Gordon had 100 all-purpose yards against the Chiefs defense. And basically what should have been a blowout, but they kind of held up. Dolphins defense is no joke. Gaskin this is going to be a second week back after being on IR, and I feel like he's going to do a little bit better, but given your choices, I'd have to roll with Gaskin on this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Gaskin too. I mean, if Tua's not passing the ball and they're going to run it on the Chiefs, then it's going to be Tua and it's going to be Gaskin.
Yeah.
So I would take that upside over hoping that Akers has another game where he gets a touchdown. And he gets another game where he gets 20 yards a carry. So, good 7, I say go with
Myles Gaskin. Yeah. And Chester, you can't blame me. It's your own decision. I only give you the information. So where we leave off. All right, here we go. Raiders head coach John Gruden said Josh Jacobs, Trent Brown, and Jonathan Abram practiced today fully and are looking good to start for Sunday.
Yeah, so that's good for the Raiders. I mean,
it's great for your fantasy team also to have Jacobs.
Yeah, I mean,
back.
It's great to see their
but it's a tough matchup. It's a real tough matchup against Colts defense.
Yeah, but I mean, that's their offense. I mean, when Jacobs gets 20-plus carries and targeted 5 times, the Raiders have been winning.
Right.
You know, and Indy coming off a big win. I could see him having a good game. Believe it or not, I could see him having a good game.
I mean, listen, they gave up a little bit to David Johnson after coming back from his concussion/COVID reserve, all that other stuff they was going through, and he looked fine. So you can score on the Colts, but they will push back and they'll probably give some problems. But depending on how game flow goes, I still expect Jacobs to get 20-plus touches and actually have a fair, decent game, far better than the week before when he got knocked out early.
Yeah,
so
once again, you're probably in the playoffs, and Jacobs is one of the reasons you're in there. You're not going to bench him because of the Colts.
Mm-hmm. No. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. You don't get cute with these right here. All right, as far as like Hopkins has been doing nothing as well, should you still play him? Yes, because to be honest, I have both the stack of Murray and Hopkins. I'm in the playoffs myself, and I will be playing Murray and Hopkins. Now, if I had Murray or Brady, I'd be doing the Brady Hopkins as my lineup. Your thoughts, Moose?
I don't know. I'm confused. I thought we already answered that we would start Brady over
right.
Murray.
Confirmation.
Yeah, Brady over Murray, and then now he's asking if you should start
Hopkins.
Well, what's his other wide receivers? Like, once again, are you sitting Hopkins because he's not doing bad? Like, he's not really doing that bad. It's just Murray was doing worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're upset at Murray because Murray's not getting you the rushing yards. We all know that he's like Lamar Jackson. He's not going to get you the passing yards. He's going to get you the rushing yards. Like, Hopkins has still been targeted. Last game, he had 13 targets, 8 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, the targets aren't going anywhere.
Right. He had 19, 10, and 10. That's not really against New England and Seattle. Now you're going up against a weak Giants secondary and then Philly in week 15 and then San Fran week 16.
Mm.
Like, why would you sit Hopkins? Like, I don't know. Once again, it's not my decision. It's your team. You probably made the playoffs once again, so play the guys that got you there.
Right.
Like, you made a great comment about 2 weeks ago about when Fitzpatrick's in the lineup for the Dolphins. That's when Parker becomes relevant. When Tua's in there, he's getting half the targets and half the yards.
Exactly. So last week, Mike Gesicki was the recipient of a good day from Tua, and I thought he would actually have a terrible day. So last week against Cincinnati, Devontae Parker against a weak Bengals defense where he should have thrived, he had 8 targets for 4 catches for 35 yards with Tua in. There you go. So if Tua starts again and no Fitzpatrick, you could expect the same thing coming from Parker, which is going to be a weak performance. What's up, boys? For you, Damian Mostert, David Johnson, AP, and of course, shoulder, and now thigh boy, who's showing doubtful now. Who was I planning on having back this week after bye if I made playoffs, which I did? Thoughts?
I'm confused. Are you asking of who you should start? Which 2? Which 3? Or...
Yeah, we were looking for 2 in a flex or... No problem. True. I'm doing Brady over Hopkins.
Yeah. No, definitely Brady over.
All right. If we're just doing 2 running backs and you got Damian Mostert, David Johnson, AP, give me Mostert and David Johnson. I mean,
Two on a flex. Okay, I'll agree with you on that. AP. I mean, it all depends on what happened with Swift in Detroit. But I mean, AP's still getting touches. If you had to go with the three that you have, I would say Mostert, David Johnson, and AP.
Yeah, I don't think it's too hard to trust a Patriots running back, regardless of the fact of how many are out for the season, who are on IR, who had a hot streak going. Doesn't matter. Belichick and Cam Newton are just going to run. Last week, they blew out the Chargers. Cam Newton had one throwing touchdown. He had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, in all reality, nobody's scared of the Patriots passing offense. It's about the rushing defense.
Right. They're going to try to find a way.
Right. So with, you got, oh, man, that name totally slipped my mind right now. Who's the big guy in the Rams? Darnold. You got Darnold. You got Floyd. You got
Aaron Donald. You got Floyd.
Ramsey even. Right. They're gonna stop the run. They're gonna stop Cam Newton. They're gonna stop the run.
Right. They're gonna force him. They're gonna force him to pass.
Right.
So maybe you see something out of Damiere Byrd or from Jacoby Myers, maybe. But realistically, I think they're gonna try to force the Patriots to throw and try to take out Cam from running.
And once again, guys, this is our opinion. This is our thoughts. If your gut's telling you go somewhere else, if your info or your thought process, whatever you guys did to get you to where you're at, like follow that. We're just here to give you another opinion and our thoughts on it, to maybe give you a different point of view on it.
Oh, now that I finally see the name. What's up, Crowley? All right, moving on. Bengals running back Joe Mixon, I said Moxon, is eligible to come off IR, but head coach Zach Taylor says his return will have to wait another week. He's out for Sunday against Dallas, which is brutal because that is the juiciest matchup next to having somebody play against the Jets.
Yeah.
And so now if you have Giovanni Bernard, how would you rank Bernard for the playoffs this week amongst running backs? Would he even would he be in your top 10 of running backs to start this week?
Probably. I mean, I haven't really been following the Bengals and what they've been doing and with Bernard or Mixon, but I mean, yeah, it's a juicy matchup, but I mean, it's so tough. It's so tough because his 2 really good games were against Cleveland and Tennessee. And then since the bye, it was Pittsburgh, Washington, and Giants, and he didn't even crack 10 fantasy points.
But that's a tough. The first 2, the 2 out of 3, and then the Dolphins. So yeah, 3 out of 4 really tough run defenses, and the Giants was a toss-up. But gameplay scripts it differently.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's also like you got Brandon Allen back there passing. Their passing game wasn't working. So why wouldn't you then feed your running back more? Like, I don't know. Like, are they trying to win?
Yeah, I gotta check the news on Brandon Allen after he got injured during the game, and Finley came in.
He practiced in full on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because I wasn't sure whether or not he would be able to start this week. He had a short questionable status on his name.
Yeah. And I mean, once again, it might turn into another slugfest where, not slugfest in per se of like 2 high-powered offense, but the Cowboys take an early lead and then just abandon the run again, So that's a very dicey play for Bernard. But once again, I'm pretty sure Bernard's either your flex or your number 2 running back.
Right.
So once again, if you could start a better wide receiver at that position in the flex, or even a tight end, if you do wide receiver, tight end, running back flex, look at that before you start Bernard.
Yeah. All right. Eagles head coach Doug Peterson is naming Jalen Hurts his new starting quarterback, and the rookie will start Sunday against the Saints. Sources tell, this comes from Mort Report, also Carson Wentz now will be back up.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it took 13 weeks. You feel like it was too long of a wait?
No.
You think it was just about right amount of time?
I kind of feel like they didn't pull the trigger earlier because there were still, like, it's a weak division and they were in the hunt for first place. And now I kind of feel that it's slipping away from them. So they're like, well, let's throw the rookie in and see what we got with him. Once again, I cannot wait for next offseason. There's going to be so many great quarterbacks under like 26 years old.
I don't know. When Hurts came in after they pulled Wentz and he drove down and scored that touchdown, I thought that was kind of impressive, mildly impressive, but we'll see how he faces from the first quarter to the last quarter against the Saints defense. You'll be able to tell, like, how he holds himself in the pocket. Does he get happy feet? Can he read the defense? How does he who's the receiver he's going to target the most? Is it going to be very tight end friendly? Like that could be a week where you can really trust either both Goddard or Ertz, as those safety valves for him. So this would be kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah.
No, we're pretty sure that Christian McCaffrey is not going to play. We reported earlier that head coach Matt Rule is not going to play him this week.
Yeah, I mean, if there was the slightest chance of him playing, I don't think he would have came out now.
Right,
saying that he is not playing.
No, not with the one more day of practice and then the walkthrough and
once again, you may be absolutely right. He may be doing this as a ploy, and then come Sunday, and it's like, oh, Christian McCaffrey's playing, blah blah blah. We got you.
No, with the way I mean, I don't know what they really can do to try to salvage the season to make the playoffs. But let's be serious here. This is still your franchise running back. You got to take those extra precautions.
When he was ready to go, I think that he wasn't ready to go. And then it showed that he wasn't ready to go because he had all the flare-ups after that game and that soreness and that uncomfortable feeling in the knee that I think they could have waited a week there and then he would have been better coming back instead of being like, hey, I'm ready to go now. And then it's like...
So you think he's past the AC joint problem and now they're just focused more on that ankle and possibly the knee?
Yeah. So, I think when he was, ready to go and be ready to suit up and they're like, I'm confident you could play this game, they should have held him out there and give him that extra week of, okay, it's healthy. Let's get it more healthy by not aggravating it and making sure everything is at 100%. Not that just the knee's at 100%, but this ligament or this bone or whatever. I'm not a doctor. I don't know or whatever.
Right.
But I think if you waited that extra week,
if you were a doctor, you wouldn't be on this low budget show.
Sure, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm just saying it from I may not look like it if you guys see me in the video, but I was an athlete at one point. I did play multiple sports.
See it in your heart.
I know how it is to be taking that extra day with an ankle injury or a wrist injury or a knee injury and just making sure that everything feels good when you take that first step or that first juke. And I don't think he was ready for it. And when they rushed into it,
right,
they prolonged that effect of it.
Speaking of injuries, let's move on into the injury notes here. You got two injuries of note to put up on here is both Buccaneers wide receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chester, don't kill me for this. I'm only reporting the news. You can't kill the messenger. All right, after being limited at practice Wednesday due to a hamstring injury, Mike Evans was held out again today. So if he gets held out a third day in a row, then expect him to be out. Yeah. Chris Godwin had the pins removed from his broken left index finger Tuesday, did not practice today. I think that's just a day of rest after removing the pins. He should be good to go for Sunday, but regardless, we talked about this before we started the show. You still have Antonio Brown, you have Scotty Miller, you got Gronk, and you got the combination of Fournette and Rojo. So I don't think there's going to be too much to hurt Brady's chances.
And it's the same thing with the Mike Evans. Was this just giving a veteran a day off? If he's like, hey, I'm a little tight over here, they're like, yeah, okay, just take a breather. Yeah. Push yourself, because they need it for Sunday.
Yeah. Ravens wide receiver Des Bryant not practice Thursday. You know why? Because he's on the COVID-19 reserve list.
Yeah, that's why he got pulled from the game.
Yeah, they gave him the news when he was warming up on Tuesday.
And then he made the comment, I don't know if you he made a comment the next day that he wants to quit the season.
You know what he did this for? The revenge game. This was purely for the revenge game. He saw the schedule. He's like, we got Dallas? Boys, fire me up. I'm going to show these SOBs.
But he hadn't done nothing leading to it. It would have been different if he played more of the season.
I think this was going to be his one and done. No. And be like, F you, Jerry, and I'm out. And now he's really out because that's the irony in trying to get those right back at you games.
Once again, we're just wasting our breath on this player. It doesn't matter. I mean, once again, if you had Des Bryant in your lineup, boy, were you desperate.
My gosh. Not as desperate as the person going after now you escaped my names. He's on Seattle.
Lockett?
No.
Moore?
No, the other one who was dealing with all the drug problems came from Cleveland.
Josh Gordon?
Gordon, there we go.
Yeah, the
Flash.
The hottest pickup 3 weeks ago for week 17.
Yeah, the hottest week.
Hottest pickup 3 weeks ago for week 17 when all fantasy is irrelevant.
You hear that? If you picked up Gordon, just drop him.
Good for you. You did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones still dealing with this hamstring problem. He did not practice today for the second consecutive day. If this happens 3 times in a row, what does the pen say?
He will play.
Ooh.
He's gonna suit up. He's just gonna take like 2 drives and then be like, okay, I'm out. And then you're like, motherfucker.
Right? My whole fantasy playoff was on you, you bastard.
That's what they do. And it's so funny because we get so mad because of fantasy, but in the reality, it's like these guys are trying to get paid. They're trying to, they have to prove that
they don't give 2 shits about our fantasy team. That's basically what it came down to it. And then I forget which coach said it too. Oh, Andy Reid. He especially doesn't give a crap about your fantasy team. So those who are probably bitching about how Clyde Edwards-Helaire got him 0 points, even though he started, he doesn't care.
Yeah, Nick Chubb ran out of bounds that one game, or on the 1 yard line, whatever, to race the clock.
Oh yeah,
he's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like I'm here to win. I'm not here about your fantasy points.
Exactly. It's just a fun game we play. Steelers listed quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is not practicing today for a non-injury reason. An indication is that the knee is kind of bugging him. Last week, he didn't practice at all because of that same problem, but the injury is now off the report. He
started, so...
This is just common Big Ben old age quarterback problems. 37. Yeah. 37 or 38. He's still part of the same crop of group where,
him, Rivers, and Eli just retired, so...
Yeah.
But he looks good. He looks slim. That offense looks good, and they're clicking when he's there, so they better hope that it's just hey, old man, take a break.
If they get Mason Rudolph again,
good Lord.
That reindeer ain't playing no games. I can tell you that, my friend.
Facts.
All right, 49ers wide receiver Debo. That just popped that kid. Debo Samuel absent Wednesday with a bruised foot.
Yeah, okay. The 49ers are the most injury-ridden team this year.
Right?
So.
Someone's got him hexed. Someone pissed them off that bad that not only are they injury-riddled, but they got booed out of their own county for playing games. They got to be in Arizona the rest of the season. Like, their own county don't even want
2020.
Hashtag 2020. All right, Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill did not practice today. Sound the alarm?
No.
Nah, it's just an illness. Don't worry about it. It's not COVID-related. Don't freak out. Don't freak out.
Just monitor everything.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then Washington running back Antonio Gibson was diagnosed with a painful case of turf toe. I need a drop for a turf toe. We got to find one of those. But anyway, so
turf toe's no joke, man.
Yeah, ain't no joke. It's probably going to knock him out this Sunday against the Niners. So his status is in doubt. Try to find alternative options if you can for replacing him if he's unable to go.
If you could get McKissick, he's probably out there. Go grab him.
What about Peyton Barber?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Right?
Yeah, whatever. I would take if you have the chance to grab Barber or McKissick, grab McKissick over Barber. And McKissick's already taken grab Barber, obviously, because he's going to get the rushing. But McKissick went 10 for 10 for 70 yards.
Yeah, that ain't no joke. Yeah. That's legit. Now maybe goal line responsibilities may be a little bit different, but as far as for the pass catching game, we're in a PPR. That's key. That's that's the bee's knees right there.
Yeah.
So
10 for 10 for 70 yards. That's good.
All right, and I'm tired of this now. Let's talk about some football.
What's up?
What you got?
What do you got?
I got none.
We got Thursday night game.
We do? Is it fun?
Yeah, Rams Patriots.
Yeah.
Let's give Patriots some credit, though. They're in the playoff hunt, and they look like a college team.
Now, do you think this is okay? So imagine this. Imagine the season that ended after 2020.
Okay.
That Cam Newton had finished out the year spectacular, took the Patriots all the way to the championship just to lose, and now next year
to Brady.
Yeah. No. Not to Brady.
Oh, Patriots,
no.
Bucks. That just writes itself.
Right, doesn't? That's a story in itself. But no, let's be all in all honestly. Let's say he does finish out the season fairly comparable. Do you expect the Patriots to re-sign him? And then if not, what would be a landing spot for another NFL team for him? Jaguars?
No. He's falling into that backup role. He's going to fall into one of those like, I'm a serviceable backup, and I'm going to go to a team that has an injury-prone quarterback.
Okay. So, like, we can go on and talk about the Rams because you know who's basically the startable people are. It's going to be Robert Woods, it's going to be Cooper Kupp. Most likely it's going to be Jared Goff, but really what kind of Jared Goff are you going to expect to see tonight, Moose? It is a Thursday night. Do you believe in the mumbo jumbo, the bad luck of Thursday games? Would you risk it at all playing Jared Goff if you had better options out there?
If you had better options,
let's say Baker Mayfield was out there in the free agency and you had Jared Goff. Would you?
I'd probably take Goff.
Okay.
Yeah, Baker.
That was like just the top names, like, you know, like who had a hot game this past week, who might possibly still out there in free agency if they haven't got scooped up.
Like I would do Goff over Baker. I would probably do like Rivers over Goff, maybe even Carr over Goff.
Would you do Tua over Goff?
Tua against KC?
This is real. Tough. This is real world stuff right here. This is like, and this is what will drive fantasy managers bananas over because they'll be like, all right, Goff played great last week.
I would do Goff over Tua.
Okay.
They're going against the Super Bowl champs. I know we said to start Gaskin because that's the right move, but
I got to ask the question because this is what you do as a host. You ask these hard-hitting questions, and who better ask than the wise sage Moose, especially since we just saw a Justin Herbert who looked like he was invincible the entire rookie season show a little bit of weakness against the Patriots D.
How about the sage Moose ask you a question? Would you start Dalton over Goff?
The Red Rifle?
Against Cincinnati?
You know what? That spells boning all the way. No, I would not.
All right. Trubisky against Houston.
Don't play my heart like that. Actually, no, I got no love for Trubisky at all. No way. No.
All right. Stafford against Green Bay.
Is Galladay going to play this week? I know he's still dealing with the hip problems.
Still not practicing.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, you could run on Green Bay, but sometimes you can't make them. You can't make them miss in the past. So no.
I mean, he had over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Bears.
Yep.
Do you like the Bears defense or Packers defense better? Let's be realistic.
Bears all the way.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you go like Goff. Once again, I think that the Patriots defense is good enough to where the run is going to be hard and they're going to have to pass. And I just like their passing attack better.
Okay.
And I think Goff is in for a good game. Maybe 20 to 25 points.
I think we beat it into submission just about enough when we talked about these Rams running backs, but it really is hard to justify even saying which running back, because this is not I don't want to say it's similar to how the Patriots view the running backs. It's more the fact that they are going always with a hot hand approach, and who, like, Malcolm Brown could break a 20-yard run, and for the next 10 carries is all going to go to Malcolm Brown, right? Until his yard per carries become way below 3, that they like, all right, let's throw Akers in there, or you get in a passing situation. Let's say Henderson was catching the ball better than either of them this week, then Henderson's going to get more pass catching. So it's really tough. I mean, so far, back-to-back weeks where Akers got a touchdown, is that a trend now? Like, if we're talking NBA Jam rules here, he's starting to heat up.
Mm-hmm.
The sneaky flex play?
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. That's why I'm saying trust the passing of the Rams, not the rushing of the Rams.
Yeah, and that's how it's been all year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody on the Patriots not named Cam Newton that you really want to talk about?
I mean, Harris, if you definitely have to.
I mean,
but other tam that, I think you're okay to not start anybody else. Even the wide receiving core. I mean, 1 week it's Meyer. Am I pronouncing that right? Myers, I think.
And 1 week it's the Bird.
It's a Bird, right?
Bird is the word. So,
which is great. Like, I mean, I guess there's something there to work on, but
there's something football related there. There's nothing fantasy relatable there.
I mean, N'Keal Herring had a touchdown. There was a sighting of the herring.
Of the herring.
So yeah, I mean, like, once again, I don't think Cam Newton is the quarterback for this system, for the people that they have.
No, and it's really sputtered too because listen, after his negative .18 points against the Niners in week 7. He had some solid play of 17-24, 18-26, and then wets the bed against Arizona for under 4. Then he gets 24 against the Chargers. Now he goes up against a top 3 defense in the Rams. They're very good against the run. They're very good against the pass. 2 things that neither Newton can want to decide on whether he wants to excel at the pass one night or the run one night. So he'll go ahead and give it a mix. So I hope you're not playing Newton in your playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Thursday night games are always taboo for me. I've never been a fan of them.
If you're watching, no, I like Thursday night games.
I like watching Thursday night games.
Yeah.
I don't like having fantasy players on my team playing in the Thursday game, because then if they really mess up, you got 2 days to stew over that. You know, because you can be like, I could have played such and such. So for 2 days, you're beating yourself over something that you felt like was a good decision.
But once again, it all depends on who you have. Like, we don't like this matchup, but if it was the Steelers and you had a Big Ben going, and Big Ben's your quarterback, you're like, hell yeah, I'm starting Big Ben. You're not questioning that.
Yeah.
It's just the Patriots versus the Rams. You want nobody from the Patriots, and the Rams, you're very limited because you don't know what Goff's going to do. You don't know if Goff plays good, then the wide receivers do good, and you don't know what running back to touch.
Yeah.
But I am going to say this. If you are watching the game today, look out for Gunnar Olszewski. He had beautiful plays last week, man. Did you watch any of the highlights?
I did not catch the highlights.
He had 3, I think, kick returns for 145 yards and a touchdown. It was super fun to watch, and he had 1 carry for 38 yards and a touchdown.
Be careful! Be careful what you say. People might get cute and go and grab them and play them.
Oh, I grabbed them in some leagues.
Right. So you're getting cute like that, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm not starting him. Once again, he didn't get me there.
All right, we still got some more time. If you got some sit questions, let us know. Hit us up. We're here. We're gonna just kind of plow right through. It's a little abnormal day for us. We're not going to do our full previews. We're going to record later for tomorrow to be aired on Spotify, Apple Pods, iHeart. So check that out when the audio comes out. If you missed today's episode, you can still watch us on YouTube or go back, join our page, our Facebook group page. We're there. Follow us on Instagram, right, Moose?
I totally
email
agree.
The show.
Yes.
One last thing I want to talk to you about. I was reading an article. This is let's talk Bears talk, we try to do. And writer had a good point. He basically, which road do you take was the name of the story. And it basically comes down to the front office organization on what roads do they take with the Bears after this season. Now, road 1, do that to me one more time. All right. Ryan Pace would be entering the final year of his contract. Matt Nagy would be entering the penultimate, a little wordsmith going on.
Way better than me.
Basically, the year before his final year, where most coaches kind of get the axe. Yeah. And then the de facto final year of that comes with, what to do with Ted Phillips. So he goes into saying that there's some factors that McCaskey be bringing both back right there. Nagy and Pace bringing them back. Dealing out Kyle Fuller for picks to a team that could use a cornerback. And then just going from there, try to stack some picks. Road 2, go your own way. The Bears would fire one, but not the other. So Pace would go, Nagy would stay, or Nagy would go and Pace would stay. Does that seem possible? All right. Road 3, want to be starting something. Basically, you completely clean the entire house and you go from there. And then you try to salvage what you can out of the team, including trying to find contract space for re-signing, let's say, Allen Robinson. So in a scenario, we could probably think of one of those 3 roads to take for McCaskey. What do you think would be the most logical? Firing both, or firing one and keeping the other, or completely or keeping both and then dealing away players for picks and trying to jar up some cap space?
And that's tough.
Because now we're going to be looking into a third year of Khalil Mack and may not have him after that third year. You got to think Akeem Hicks, trying to keep that core defense in stable condition as you can. But for defenses who could really use a cornerback, and basically our best playing card is Kyle Fuller to try to garner picks. That's if you keep both Pace and Nagy for next year. Or do you play I'm going to fire one but keep the other and see what happens, or just we completely clean house?
I would like to see us keep one and fire the other, and I would like to see us keep Nagy but fire the GM. I would like to get a young and aggressive GM where he's not trading our picks away, but like being like active in the free agency, being active in the draft, and getting things that we need, not because we want to be cute or make a splash.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want a Jerry Jones. Like, he didn't need CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, he proved it this year. They didn't need CeeDee Lamb. They needed help on defense. And he went out and got CeeDee Lamb with the first overall pick. Like, I don't want a guy that does that. I want a guy that's, like, smart.
Well, because he's got the reverse of what the Bears do. The Bears don't give a care about the offense, but they care about the defense.
Like, I want a guy that is not like, he has potential. Like, if they're going to the free agency and grabbing a guy that was once good and is on the downside, or, like, he looks like an up-and-coming guard. No, like, if you're going to go get a free agency guy, then you want to grab a guy that's still at the height of his thing to come and help us right away. Like an offensive tackle, if you're looking at, like, linebackers, like, I think we could cut some fat on the D-line, on the linebacking core. Like, I would not get rid of Kyle Fuller.
Like Robert Quinn cutting the fat.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to cut it because next year he will be only in his second out of his 5-year contract. But I mean, it's like people like Trevathan.
Maybe get one of our 20 tight ends.
Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah.
Like a guy that comes in and does the clean house, but does it smart.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need 10 tight ends. Sure, let's keep 4, one in the practice squad or whatever, roll with 3. That's totally fine. Not 10.
Yeah.
Not grab guys that are past their prime, or they were like good like 7 years ago, and we're like, hey, he's a free agent. Let's go and get him.
Right. See, and I'm kind of leaning towards the side where they completely clean house all together, especially hearing rumors coming out that they're really looking at the Northwestern head coach and how he's turned the program around. And I get it.
But if you clean house, you have to go from the owner McCaskey all the way down to the.
Well, you start with Ted Phillips. You start with Ted Phillips and go. You're not getting rid of the McCaskies, all right? If 98-year-old Virginia McCaskey, God forbid she passes, right? It goes to George McCaskey and the rest of the McCaskies. Sure. And until they are done with this team, like how the Trib was done with the Cubs, they're not going to sell the team. They're not going to just up and give it away until they're completely done. Which, unless they have that stubborn attitude like Virginia, because her father founded the team and this is why we're here we're at now, then you have to go the other route. Start with Ted Phillips and work your way all the way down to the bottom.
Right.
All the way. It's like when you demolish a building, right? You come crashing down. Right. And all that's left is the rubble.
Like, if you're going to rebuild like that, then you have to go from there and go all the way down.
Right. So then would you even start picking in at the player personnel as well?
Well, no, what I would do. If
you're doing a complete rebuild, then
if I'm doing a complete rebuild, then that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing in the guys.
Are we doing Madden mode?
Yeah, pretty much. And then the GM and head coach are going to be like, you're sitting in this room and you literally go like, are we keeping? Are we releasing? Are we keeping? Are we releasing? Obviously, making the right decision. Don't be like, okay, I don't like Quinn, I'm going to release him. I don't want the Bears to take a $30 million cap hit on.
No, you don't want.
You're screwing yourself.
Yeah, no, you don't need stuff like that. But even if you could trade guy for picks,
yeah.
Even if you could free up cap space,
like I wouldn't So, for instance, I wouldn't trade Fuller away for picks for another team because we need it or whatever. Our secondary, our corners especially, are not good enough to get rid of Fuller. We're not good there. If we had guys where he's like the third man or we have a good rotation going, then I would be like, fine, Fuller, pick one of the 3, but we still have 2 good corners.
Right.
Like, we don't have good corners. Like, those are things that
No, it still remains to be seen what Jalen Johnson's going to really be. Right. Again, Buster Screen is not the answer. Exactly. And going forward.
Gibson has proven, keep Gibson. We have Eddie Money back there. Keep him.
Yeah.
Keep Kyle Fuller, but then go and get somebody. If you don't want to waste a draft pick on it, then go get a corner from the free agency that is relevant, not a guy who's like, oh, I like Buster Screen because he's, like $2 million and he played a slot before. Like, there's a reason why he's on his fourth team.
Yeah.
Go spend the big money on a corner that is on a winning team that has a winning culture. Like, Tennessee did that. They were struggling, and they went and got Desmond King from the Chargers.
Denver did that when they went and got A.J. Bouye from the Jaguars.
Exactly.
It's now bit him in the ass now since he got suspended.
Sure, but once again, it's like you want to make this team better, then you have to go and do it without being like, here's the minimum of making it better, and we really believe in this guy. Because, with the Bears especially, 9 out of 10, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we're really good at finding gems in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. That's fine. But our 1, 2, 3 picks, let's be real, as the Bears, we really don't have anything good. Get a guy that is good with the scouts.
Thank goodness for the rookie contracts, right?
Right. Can you imagine if it was back in 2000 where you had to pay somebody?
Forget about it. That's why we're in the problem in the first place. We couldn't pay nobody.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying. If you're going to rebuild that's tough.
Remember Brian Cox?
Kevin White? Cool.
He was a Gamecock.
I can't even tell you the last time we had a good first-round pick. Kyle Long? He was good for the 6-7 years he was here.
I kind of miss him.
Yeah, Kyle Long was good. Who was before that? Chris Harris?
Yeah.
Did he tackle?
Right.
And that's going back to Urlacher was still here, but he didn't have hair.
When he didn't have hair, making money off a damn sponsorship. We need to get some sponsors around here. Anyways, that's all the time we have for tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us, watching us, commenting. I hope everyone does great in their first week of playoffs. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for our audio version. We're going to be previewing all the games for Sunday and Monday for week 14 and getting you ready. Mm-hmm. So until then, if you got questions, hit us up on the Facebook page.
Tune in on Sunday mornings.
Exactly. What time?
Live before the games, 11 o'clock.
Exactly. Follow us on Instagram. Hit us up on windycityfantasy@gmail.com. And just know that you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and YouTube.
Yep.
From all of us here at Windy City Fantasy, myself, Moose, Elliot, who's been eating in the background this whole time, right? I see the Cheetos in that beard, boy.
No, actually, I've been, for those of you who don't know, I'll give you a little background. I run 4 internet radio stations, and one of them crashed, so I was kind of behind the scenes doing that. So, but for the tomorrow show, I'm gonna be all over it. So
you heard it here first.
So yeah, so
if you
stay
don't
tuned.
Hear our show tomorrow, you got to email Elliot at where? Yeah, find him on his Twitter handle, find him on his Instagram handle, DJ Epidemic. But seriously, from all of us here, Windy City Fantasy, peace out.
Good night, everybody.
I was eating too.
I knew you were.